All right, this lesson is on adding and subtracting of matrices. When we add or subtract matrices that involve corresponding elements, we want to make sure that our matrices have the same dimensions. So there's an example below here in this chart where we see that the elements are being added to the corresponding parts. So there's an essential understanding here in this box. When we add or subtract in a matrix, you add the corresponding elements. So there's an example here that shows you matrix A and B, and when you add or subtract them, you add the corresponding elements. So this is showing you a 2x2 matrix, and when you're adding and subtracting those. Okay, here's example 1. Consider the matrices below. So there are 4 matrices, matrix A, B, C, and D. And we want to be able to figure out, could we in fact add or subtract these matrices? So when we start off, we want to just identify what are the matrix dimensions. So remember, matrix dimensions are row by column. So in matrix A, there are 2 rows by 3 columns. In matrix B, there are 3 rows by 2 columns. Matrix C, there are 2 rows by 3 columns. In matrix D, there are 2 rows by 3 columns. Now you're going to notice that one of those matrices doesn't have the same dimensions as all the rest. A, C, and D, so A, C, and D all are 2 by 3 matrix dimensions, but matrix B is a 3 by 2. So we're not able to add or subtract that matrix to any of the rest. So matrices A, C, and D are all 2 by 3, while matrix B is 3 by 2. Can't be added or subtracted to A, C, or D. So you essentially can add or subtract with these 3 are good, but matrix B you would not want to work with. Example 2 now says, add or subtract the matrix below if possible. So we have 4 matrices, and we want to see, can we add A and C together? So again, let's go ahead and identify the matrix dimensions first. So matrix A is a 3 rows by 2 columns. Matrix B is 2 rows by 3 columns. Matrix C is 3 rows by 2 columns. And matrix D is 2 rows by 3 columns. So we're going to go ahead and add A and C together. So A and C. So So we look at the dimensions. The dimensions are both a 3 by 2, so we're good to go. So we can go ahead and add those two together. So A plus C. So A is 4, -2, -3, 10. I'm just writing the elements down. And then C and how we add is we add the corresponding elements. So here's what I mean. 4 and 3 are going to add together. -2 and 2 add together, and we continue doing that. So here's how it's going to look. So 4 plus 3, -2 plus 2, -3 plus 0, 10 plus -9. So now I'm here. Just did those. Now I'm going to go 2 and -5. And then 6 and 14. And then we simplify those numbers. And we're going to get 7, 0, -3, 1, -3, and 20. Now it's asking us to subtract C minus A. So again, we've already talked about they are the same dimension, so we're good to go. So we're going to take C minus A. So again, this is the C and that's the A. And we're going to subtract them. So we do this again with the corresponding elements. So this is the corresponding. So it's going to be 3 minus 4, 2 minus -2, 0 minus -3, -9 minus 10, -9 minus 10, that's a -5, minus 2, and then 14 minus 6. And then we simplify those numbers. So 3 minus 4, -1. That becomes a plus. -7. This becomes a plus. 4, -19, and then 8. Now it's asking us for C plus B. Matrix C plus B is not possible because matrix C is a 3 by 2 and matrix B is a 2 by 3. So this is not possible as they're not the same dimension. In order to add or subtract two matrices together, they must be exactly the same dimensions. All right, example 3, a new set of matrices. So let's identify the dimensions again. So we have matrix A, which is a 2 by 2 matrix, 2 rows by 2 columns. Matrix B is 2 rows by 3 columns. Matrix C is a 2 by 2. And then matrix D is a 1 by 3. And it's asking us to multiply 2 times A and then subtract 3 times B. So let's just focus on the subtraction first. Can we take and subtract A and B? So are those dimensions the same? So are A and B the same dimensions? No. They're not the same dimensions, so not possible. So we can stop there. Same problem. I just took the snapshot. So now it's asking us C minus 2A. So let's look at the dimensions of A and C. They're both 2 by 2 matrices, so we can subtract them. So it's saying C minus 2A. So C, I'm going to write that down first. So 3, 2, 0, and -9, minus, and now the 2 represents a scalar. So we're going to put a 2 in front of the A, and then we put our elements of A in. Now before we subtract these, we have to do our scalar multiplication first. We have to distribute that scalar into all of those elements. So I'm just going to bring down our matrix C. So we're doing our scalar multiplication first. So there is the distribution of 2 into all of those elements into matrix A. Now we can go ahead and subtract. So we're taking the matching elements or corresponding elements, so 3 minus 8, 2 minus -4, 0 minus -6, -9 minus 20, and then we simplify it. So 3 minus 8 is -5. This becomes an addition. That becomes addition. And then -29. The last thing here shows you the operations for matrix addition. You can pause and read those. And then we have an application problem for adding and subtracting of matrices. So this is a problem we've seen in a previous example where we have cool threads use matrices to keep track of monthly sales. In matrices A and B, row 1 represents the sale of jeans and row 2 represents the sale of the jackets, with columns representing the vintage, clothing, vintage, casual, and distressed brands during 2 consecutive months. So we're going to go ahead and set up the 2 matrices. and add them together. So if you're noticing here, here's matrix A, and this is for the sales in March. And here's matrix B for the sales in April. And we want to find the total sales in the 2 months. So we're going to add matrix A and B together to figure out the total sales for the 2 months. And then we add the corresponding elements together. So 14 and 18, we add those together, giving us 32. Then 11 and 17, giving us our 33. Actually, there should be 28 here. Gotta erase here. 28 here. And then these two here, giving us 53. 10 and 16, 26. 15 and 9, 24. 35 and 45 of 80. The other thing we're doing is what is the difference in the sales in 2 months? So then we would subtract A minus B. So we would put elements of A minus the elements of B I'm just going to change pen colors here. So 14 minus 18 is -4. 11 minus 17, -6. 28 minus 25 is 3. 10 minus 16, -6. 15 minus 9 is 6. 35 minus 45 is -10.